Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Kris. I'm Christopher Standen. Sorry. But today is George Washington's birthday, and I've already said it in the last video, which was a walk through his home by Washington did it himself. I'm celebrating with some Washington rye whiskey. I have not had a whole lot. It's just up to there. Just celebrating his birthday with a little shot. I already had the shot. It's too expensive. That was $90. And look, that's a regular can of soda, 12 ounce can. This was $90. So I enjoy it. This is Welcome to George Washington's Mount Vernon. This is by Mount Vernon, and just kind of, the last one was a little tour through some of the rooms. This is just kind of an everything.
You are about to journey into the past and discover one of the great leaders in history, without whom our nation would not exist. In war, George Washington led the fight for independence from Great Britain. In peace, he gave up power, chaired the Constitutional Convention, and served as the nation's first president, proving to the world a nation's people could govern themselves. His leadership defined America's governing principles, establishing the freedom, liberty, and stability enjoyed by millions today. Yet his thoughts were always of home. "I would rather be at Mount Vernon with a friend or two," he said, "than to be attended at the seat of government by the representatives of every power in Europe." After his passing, Washington's beautiful estate eventually declined, and his iconic house nearly fell to ruin. It took the efforts of a few patriotic women, led in 1853 by Anne Pamela Cunningham, to save and preserve it for future generations.
Thank you.
They formed the Mount Vernon Ladies Association of the Union and raised money from Americans across the country to purchase the home. To this day, the Mount Vernon Ladies Association continues to preserve and protect this special place. As you explore Mount Vernon, discover the life and impact of George Washington. As his most famous eulogist wrote, Washington was first in war, first in peace, and first in the hearts of his countrymen, but also second to none in the humble and endearing scenes of private life. We invite you to his private world. Welcome to George Washington's Mount Vernon. After you've entered the Texas Gate, begin your journey at the Ford Orientation Center, where audio guides and maps of the estate are available. If your visit includes a mansion tour, take a look at your ticket. The time printed on it is when you can line up outside the mansion. The mansion has been expertly restored to its 1799 condition. This was George and Martha Washington's showcase. Each room carefully decorated to display the wealth of a Virginia plantation and demonstrates George Washington's vision for the new nation. The center of the historic area is the Bowling Green. It is the large, centrally located lawn on the west side of the mansion. One of the more remarkable aspects of Mount Vernon are the original outbuildings and gardens. These rare preserved structures and landscapes illustrate the daily activities that were vital for survival in the 18th century. George Washington depended on enslaved labor his entire life. At Mount Vernon, he maintained a workforce of several hundred enslaved individuals, as well as hired and indentured staff. We encourage you to learn about the people who worked and lived here. To the north is the Upper Garden and Greenhouse. Washington designed this area to be both beautiful and useful, with plants for ornamentation and food production. As you proceed along the North Lane, you'll discover examples of working and living quarters, including the enslaved quarters, blacksmith shop, and spinning house. As you explore the structures on the South Lane, you'll find George Washington's magnificent stable yard. He was called the greatest horseman of the age, and his stable yard speaks to the importance of animals on the estate. Keep a lookout for sheep, oxen, and hogs. Near the stable yard is the lower garden and orchard, where free and enslaved gardeners harvested much of the food enjoyed by Washington's family and their guests. Washington owned 8,000 acres of farmland, on which he produced a variety of crops for consumption and sale. The Potomac River was Washington's lifeline for trade with Europe and the Caribbean. The mansion is perfectly situated to capture a stunning view of the river.
There is Washington's dock. So you can go down, clearly you can't see it, but you can go down to a second, another farm down here. And that 16-sided barn is down there. But yeah, there was a, I think a French ship was given to him. He didn't have it very long. Then a rare hurricane came through and took it away and sank it somewhere nearby. They've never found it. Just a side note.
Like Washington and his family, take time to admire this vista from the Windsor chairs along the piazza. The landscape here is preserved. The result is a rare, unobstructed view, the same Washington himself would have seen in his time. Since 1860, millions of people like you have come here to pay respect to our nation's founding father. There is no more moving way to do so than at his final resting place. Upon his death, tributes poured in from nations around the world, and Washington's tomb continues to be a sacred destination for world leaders and citizens alike. Today, you too can participate in this tradition by observing the daily wreath-laying ceremonies that celebrate Washington's legacy. Nearby, you will also find the Slave Memorial and Cemetery. This has been a burial ground for both those enslaved and freed African Americans connected to the community at Mount Vernon. The centerpiece is a memorial designed in 1983 by students from Howard University. It sits beside the 1929 marker, which is one of the earliest commemorations to enslaved individuals in the country. Guests are invited to participate in our daily memorial ceremony to honor those enslaved here. In addition to these year-round events, you can also experience special seasonal activities. From April to October, the farm and riverfront hosts demonstrations of Washington's agricultural pursuits. While there, tour the 16-sided barn, his clever invention for treading and filtering wheat. If you have time, consider a short ride to our fully operational distillery and gristmill, also open from April to October. George Washington was one of the largest whiskey distillers in the country. And this legacy is carried on by our skilled tradespeople who make and sell spirits from his original recipe. Returning to the estate, we offer several museum attractions designed to give you a deeper understanding of Washington's legacy. In the Donald W. Reynolds Museum, you'll find immersive exhibits chronicling the life and impact of George Washington. The Revolutionary War 4D experience puts you in the heart of the battle, and the B. Washington Theater allows you to measure your leadership skills against the man himself. You'll also find a permanent display of original.
If I remember, I have a link to the B. Washington, and you can do it online. You just click on it, and then you can. There's no signing up. There's no cost. You just do it for free, and it kind of runs you through different scenarios that he was in, and you have to listen to advisors and then make a decision as to what you would do. It's pretty. I haven't done the whole thing. I've done one. Yeah, it deals with the Revolutionary War, one scenario, but it's like several scenarios. But it was fun.
Washington artifacts, and discover how ongoing preservation keeps this place alive for generations to come. Gift shops are located near the main entrance, along with several dining options. For a variety of convenient food items, try the pavilion. If you have more time, we suggest dining at the Mount Vernon Inn restaurant, which prepares some of Washington's favorite dishes, unique to the type.
I've eaten at the pavilion, but I've never found the restaurant. I never really looked for it because I didn't know where it was, but I was always scared at how much it would cost.
Tidewater region of Virginia. During Washington's life, an invitation to his home was a treasured honor. We extend one to you today. Washington's story is woven into the very fabric of our national identity. He united 13 colonies and helped to create a peaceful, civilian-led government. As you journey back to the early days of the American Republic, reflect on his triumph over tyranny, his commitment to service, and be inspired by his example to become a voice of leadership in your own community.
You see this back there? So, hold on.
By his example.
Okay. When you first were to visit him and you traveled on horse and carriage, this gate back here, which I think is a mile, or I don't remember now. But anyways, that's the gate you would come through, and you would take a trail, a road right on through here. And so the goal was that you would see the house at a great distance, and it would just open up, and that's the Bowling Green. They don't use it like that anymore, but you can see like the road there, and that might be it right over here. But they wanted you to see it as you came in. You got a glimpse of it, and you were like, "Oh, this is an important person here."
Become a voice of leadership in your own community. Thank you for visiting George Washington's Mount Vernon.
Oh, I want to go back again. I've been there 3 times, and it's just, every time I walk through, it's just like, it's another experience. It's just so much fun. The slave quarters, the slave burial, it's really sad. Especially now, because they're identifying burial plots. So you'll go and you'll see string, and that's where a body is, and you can see like little outlines where it's a child. It get kind of sad, and of course, we'll never know who those bodies were. But yeah, that's the sad part. But it is a great experience. If you get a chance, I really do recommend you go. So I'm going to end this one here. There's a thanks button on the channel. You can donate. You don't have to. Subscribe. Click the bell and give a thumbs up. Those are the things that I ask. If you've already subscribed, you don't need to do it. Thumbs up always helps. And donation, strictly your call. Outside of that, have a good day. Have a good night.